should we really care and buy too much into these government's reports and get swept up, or should we just take it for what it is?
Yeah, it's a great question, Lewis. So keep in mind that the government doesn't release secrets
Mm,
unless it benefits the government to release those secrets,
mm,
right? There is no secret that the government wants to keep that it's going to release willingly. It's just
right.
not going to happen.
Yeah.
So the UFO Commission and or the UAP ATIP program, all these things, they're all focused around security of air resources, right? Air traffic control, commercial airlines, airline safety and security standards. That's what they're all focused on. So when they release information, they're doing it for one of two reasons. One, it's going to help ensure the security of the air, right? So if it's an atmospheric phenomenon that puts a commercial airliner at risk, CIA doesn't want to get caught holding that secret when some United Airlines flight crashes because of some weird lenticular cloud over the Rocky Mountains. They don't want to do that. So they're going to release that because it's in their best interest. They found out the fact, they released the fact, they're doing the right thing. The other reason they release secrets is because they're trying to use it in a larger information campaign, a larger information war. So just like you're saying, all the unexplained aerial phenomenon that are going on out there, there's a perfectly logical reason for all of them. We just may not know what that logical reason is. And CIA may not know what that logical reason is. There's like, is it a reconnaissance vehicle that was launched by a foreign aggressor? Is it an experimental US military design that's being created by Raytheon? We don't know what the things are if they're man-made or not, but we know that the highest probability outcome, the most likely explanation is that it is something terrestrial. It's something we built, something that a human being built, and now it's in the sky. That's the most logical phenomenon. So when you leap to the conclusion that because there's a secret government report that was released about an unknown aerial phenomenon, it must mean that aliens are real. That's actually a cognitive flaw. That's a cognitive bias where it's called a heuristic. You're trying to apply your beliefs to an existing piece of information instead of taking the piece of information and assessing it with reason and logic to determine what the most logical conclusion of that information is. Right now, the United States and the West at large are up against two major foes, Russia and China. If Russia or China is creating any kind of aerial cruise missile, hypersonic missile, any kind of new upper atmospheric weapon, it's going to be in the US government's best interest to release a little bit of that information because it sends the message to the Russians and the Chinese, we know that you're doing this. Yeah. Yes, we're telling the American people that it could be a UFO, or we're letting them believe it might be an alien, but the message isn't for the American people. The message is for you. You've been caught on camera. We know you're developing this technology, so don't try to use it against us. Right? It's very similar to what happened in the Cuban Missile Crisis, when people started releasing intelligence reports about Cuban missile buildup or Russian missile buildup in Cuba. It's also what happened right before the Ukraine invasion. If you recall, in the weeks leading up to Ukraine, the US government was releasing all this secret information about how an invasion was imminent, right? They're using it as a tool of information warfare to intimidate and deter a foreign aggressor from taking action.